been about a day since I put water in this new scape that I'm doing, and it seems like I mean, I did lose some of the sand that I had put in some of the areas, but I can easily refill that. I was just tinkering around with it right now, but the water looks a little bit murky because of that. But I guess this is going to be the next stage. I think I'm going to, besides the rocks, I wanted to do some driftwood in there. And I've kind of been playing around with some ideas. I've got a couple of pieces here that I'm going to try to see if I can do something interesting. So let me show you what the tank currently looks like, and then I'll get the driftwood that I want to use and start playing around with some ideas as to what I wanted to look like. So let me turn the camera on. Alright, so as you can see, the rocks didn't fall or collapse or anything. It seems like a couple of things might have settled in. There's a couple of places where the sand did shift. Obviously all this down here in the front, but you can see a little bit of the meshing exposed there and some of it in there. The other thing that I've been finding very, very interesting is this gravel has been sitting without any water for quite some time. And these freaking Malaysian trumpet snails are alive. I guess these guys are impossible to kill. So I'm going to have to do something to trap most of them out. I don't want them in there. I don't really particularly care too much for them. But yeah, this is the current state of the aquarium. This is like looking from the top. You can probably pick up on some of those areas where the dirt, the sand sifted. Obviously, I'm still going to cap all of this with a little bit of light coat of sand. I have some play sand that I'm going to put on there, but let me get the driftwood so I can show you what it is that I want to do. Okay, like I was telling you on one of the videos, this is where I keep a lot of my hardscape. In here, I was already tinkering around in here with possible ideas, but I've got this one that looks like a tree. So let me set up the tripod and kind of see what you guys think. I'm not hating that, actually. Let me see if you guys, I'll get you guys up a little bit closer so you guys can see that. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. All right, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. Now I'm just going to start filling in with some of the other sand and filling in some of those areas. So let me go grab that. All right, I'm going to change the water on this because I've been messing around with this a little bit too much, and you can see how murky the water is. So nothing, a quick water change. The draining and filling of it will help settle some of the loose gravel. I still haven't. You know what? I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that I'm lowering the water level to add some of that that cap that I'm gonna put on it which is the it's a playground sand. I like that because if you look at the playground sand, it has bits and pieces of fines and a little bit of rocks. I think it just looks a little bit more natural. So that's what I'm going to use to cap this with. So let me go ahead and get this changed out, and I'll show you once I fill it up again. All right, it's still a little murky because it's got that play sand that I put in there, and I rinsed it a little bit, but it still has those particles in there. So that's why you're still seeing a slight cloudiness. It's not the first time I've used that, so I know that eventually it's gonna clear up. Now I have to decide what I'm gonna do as far as the planting is concerned. The planting. I don't want to go too extremely crazy. I have some ideas of what I want to do. I know I wanted to do some, at least in the very corner where that branch is coming out down in there. I want to put a plant that comes out immersed from the top of the, coming up towards the top. How many or what I put in there, I'm not really sure yet. But I guess the next thing right now would be go pick out some plants from what I have and start playing around and see what I think. So let's go do that. All right, I had some Hygrophila augustifolia, I believe is what it is. So I'm going to put some of that in there. And then, like I said, this corner down in here, I definitely wanted to be some immersed growth going out of there. I did buy that, what was it, that Ohoya carnosa, I believe it's what it's called. And I think that's where I'm going to put it in there. I think it also kind of vines. I think that's what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to put more plants. I'm kind of feeling like less is more. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I think that's pretty much as much as I'm going to go with plants is concerned. So let me add that other plant that I want to put in here. I got to clean out all the dirt from well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take some trimmings because maybe I want to propagate it that way. So let me go get some trimmings up for that, and I'll kind of set it up in this direction, in this corner in here, and see what that looks like. And I think once I do that, that'll be pretty much, I'll be done with this thing, other than, making a couple of water changes to clear up the aquarium and let it go through its thing and get cycled out. And I think I'll call it good. So let me go get those trimmings, and we'll put them in there and see what you think. So that'll be it for now. I still have to decide what I'm going to do with those other 20 longs that I have up there. Actually, one of my coworkers asked me for an aquarium, so I'm going to give them 2 of my 10 gallons that I have that I'm not using. So that'll solve that. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the light source on this. Right now, I'm using a temporary light that I just found in there, but I need to find something that'll fit under the structure. I think I have the lights that I'm going to use, but for that, I think I'm going to need some sort of a structure in the top, or I have a spotlight and I have some under cabinet lights. I need to figure out which ones are going to look better in there. But as far as the skate, this is pretty much it. It still needs to do some growing in. It's it's going to be a process. I'll give you guys some updates as the progression of that comes along. But that is kind of the idea. This is right next to that rack with the 50-gallon lowboy and the 125. This is going to go away. It won't be there. And I have that rack with that 55 and the 150 that I got. I haven't even finished breaking it down because it's a pain in the butt just to reach the bottom of it, and it's full of. It has about 6 inches or 6 or 8 inches just a substrate because I kept pouring stuff in there because I couldn't get to the bottom. It's a 30-inch tall aquarium, and then that wouldn't be so much the problem if it was like these where it's open top. It really has a disadvantage when they have a pretty thick a pretty thick rim around the top. It's like a cap with just a couple of openings, so it makes it very difficult to reach in there and do that. But I need to quit procrastinating and get it done and get that out of here. I am going to need some help moving it though, because even though it's an acrylic, that sucker's heavy. It's always been a heavy tank. So that being said, thank you guys, and I hope you guys like this, and we'll see you guys in the next one. You guys take care.